Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Welcome back to the show. David Pakman here. Joining us is Matt Lewis, senior contributor for the Daily Caller and editor of the new book, The Quotable Rogue, The Ideals of Sarah Palin in Her Own Words. Hey, Matt, good to see you again.
Hey, good to see you.
So I want to talk about this Newt Gingrich analogy and what I've been calling a Newt Gingrich flip-flop on Libya. And basically, my take is, on March 7th, I believe it was, before Barack Obama intervened in Libya, he said he would exercise a no-fly zone, quote, this evening. After Obama imposed the no-fly zone, Gingrich said he actually would not have intervened. You, in your article on the Daily Caller, were somewhat critical of him. I mean, give me your sense of what's Newt thinking here?
Well, I try to be honest. I mean, I'm a conservative, but I always try to, call him like I see him. And I'm a fan of Newt's in the sense that I think he's a brilliant guy, has a lot of ideas, and I think he's done a lot of good. But having said that, I mean, it's really, really hard to square these two comments. I mean, he essentially has taken, dramatically positions within, the span of just, like a month or even less, just a matter of weeks, on an issue that's quite important. And this really extends past whether or not to exercise a no-fly zone over Libya. I mean, really, this is a question of intervention, whether or not you have a realist foreign policy viewpoint. And so, I mean, to flip-flop in such a quick amount of time struck me as interesting. I actually did not write about it, though, initially. Other people were writing about it. I didn't really have anything to add except that I was a little bit, taken aback. But what actually did strike me as notable and frankly did not get the attention I thought it deserved was on Saturday when Newt was speaking in Iowa at Steve King's cattle call, and he sought to sort of push back against the notion that he had flip-flopped. And one of the things he said was that, hey, I was just sort of Obama's positions were changing too. And he said something to the effect of, if you said, should we jump in the lake, I would have said no. But once we jump into the lake, I said, swim as fast as you can.
Yeah, and to me, that if I look at what he did, that's an analogy that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, exactly. So that analogy would work if Gingrich had been initially opposing a no-fly zone, but then once Obama went in, Gingrich could then push him to do it better, more effectively, whatever. But it's so funny, man. Nobody really pushed back. Like, I feel like Newt kind of got away with this one. Maybe part of the reason is that the press is more interested in covering the sort of like sexual affairs, and that was the big story yesterday about Newt. Had more to do with whether or not he was a hypocrite because he impeached Clinton and yet was engaged in an affair himself. But I think that this whole thing got obscured. I mean, Gingrich's excuse for flip-flopping doesn't hold water, and but frankly, I think I'm the only one who might have noticed that.
Yeah, no, well, you're not maybe the only one on your side, but I think plenty of people are noticing it over on my side. Some are even saying this actually, as innocuous as it may seem, as little of a right now issue as it is, it really could become an issue in terms of a presidential Republican primary shot for Newt Gingrich. What do you think of that? Is this something other Republicans are going to harp on him as if and when they get into that situation for a presidential run?
I don't think anybody will probably ever cite this instance. I mean, again, it's pretty much been ignored. I'm the only person, at least that I know of, who really pointed out this flawed logic in this analogy. It was generally accepted, and even people reported it. Like ABC News just reported what he said and provided no context as to whether or not the analogy made sense, which of course it was a flawed analogy.
Yeah.
But having said that, in the sense that it confirms that there's a narrative about Newt, and it reminds me there's a quote from Godfather 2 where it says something to the effect of, we always respected him, but we never trusted him. And I think there's a lot of people who think that Newt Gingrich has done a lot of good, that he's incredibly smart, but that he takes chances like this, and that oftentimes he can get caught up in trying to sort of gin up buzz and rhetoric. So I think that in the long run, this instance in and of itself won't haunt him, but it just sort of reconfirms a narrative that some people already are suspicious of.
I'll say absolutely. Matt Lewis, senior contributor for the Daily Caller, editor of the new book, The Quotable Rogue, The Ideals of Sarah Palin in Her Own Words. Thanks again, Matt. We'll talk to you again soon.
Hey, thank you.
All right, bye. Well, I guess we agree, Lewis. I don't know what else to say. I agree with Matt Lewis on Newt Gingrich's analogy.
And me too. Yeah, nice to hear from a Republican who agrees with you. Not a very common thing.
Yeah, no, it's really not.